Policy Idol had quite a profound effect on my career in that I was a lab scientist. I was planning on staying in academia, going on to do a postdoctoral research placement, and instead I did none of those things, and I went into policy as a job. So I've been working following Policy Idol. I did the King's Parliamentary Research Internship, which is also organised by the Policy Institute and Careers at King's. I worked with Baroness Bennett during that experience, and then I stayed on in her team, hired directly by her, and I now work for a learned society in the infectious disease space, who fund one of my days a week is in Baroness Bennett's office, as well as in the office of Julian Sturdy MP. So it completely changed, Policy Idol completely changed my career path from sort of lab-based science into policy.
After finishing my master's degree, upon my return to Paraguay, my country, I engaged in my community and in the Chevening Alumni Association, spreading awareness on climate change policy, which was part of my proposal, and led the Paraguayan team on a climate change hackathon for the COP26. Policy Idol was clearly my door to dream of making a contribution and the world a better place.
There were so many things I learned while participating in Policy Idol, the primary being what it took to take an idea to design and to final pitch, and during that process what it meant to take this policy, rip it apart, figure out where the holes were, not only to just answer the questions on it or make sure you understand what you're talking about, but also to really understand and make sure that your policy is one that's right for the problem that you're addressing.
I think that the experience overall made me confident in public speaking, awareness raising of a niche area that affected a small but significant group of the population, as well as influencing change at system level in terms of the system-wide buy-in from the recommendations that I had.
The highlight of taking part in the Policy Idol competition in 2019 when I did it was getting to meet and understand the world in which senior policymakers lived. It was not something that I was familiar with at all. Again, as a lab scientist, I was very used to my bacteria, very used to my reagents, very used to doing science at the coalface. But I had never really considered how what we did in the lab translated into policy and obviously later practice. And getting to meet some of these quite prolific policymakers who were judging the competition was really excellent.
Oh, there's so many highlights from the Policy Idol competition, from Julia Gillard telling us that we've done an amazing job, to Louise Casey telling us as soon as we finished our pitch that she loved a three-pronged plan. But I think for me, my highlight was right after the heat rounds, when we had just pitched for the first time. We had just received the initial feedback and we had just left the building. We took this slightly uncomfortable looking selfie right outside the building, and you can just see how excited and proud we are knowing that we had something good here.